Imagine this. You're deep in the backcountry, bow in hand, stalking an elk through the dense Idaho wilderness. The crisp morning air hangs thick with anticipation, but suddenly, a chilling sound shatters the silence, a low, guttural growl. Before you can react, a massive grizzly bear charges out of the underbrush. In an instant, you're knocked to the ground, its powerful jaws clamping down. What would you do? How do you survive a face-to-face battle with one of nature's most fearsome predators? Well, two hunters in Idaho just lived through this exact nightmare, and today we're breaking down their heart-stopping encounter. Welcome to Savage Tales Animal Encounters, where we bring you real-life, pulse-pounding stories of mankind's wildest confrontations with nature's most dangerous creatures. From deadly bear attacks and rogue predator showdowns to near-miss encounters that will leave you breathless. This is the channel where the wilderness comes alive. In today's episode, we're diving deep into the terrifying story of two archery hunters who found themselves face-to-face with an angry grizzly in the remote forests of Idaho. With one of them already under attack, they had only seconds to react. How did they escape? Could it have been avoided? And what does this mean for anyone stepping into bear country? Stick around because this is one encounter you won't want to miss. But before we get into the full breakdown, make sure you hit that like button. It lets us know you want more of these adrenaline-fueled stories. Drop a comment below. Would you know what to do in a grizzly attack? Have you ever had a close call with wildlife? We want to hear your savage tales. If you're new here, subscribe to join our growing community of thrill seekers and wilderness warriors. And don't forget to ring that notification bell so you never miss an episode. Because trust me, you won't want to be the last to hear these jaw-dropping encounters. All right, let's dive into this incredible survival story, because out here in the untamed wild, anything can happen. Enjoy the video. And remember, survive the wild, tell the tale. It was a crisp early September morning in the rugged wilderness of the Caribou-Targhee National Forest, just west of Yellowstone National Park. The sun had barely begun to crest over the towering pines, casting long shadows across the forest floor. A faint mist clung to the earth, swirling gently around the boots of two experienced archery hunters as they moved quietly through the underbrush. The two men, seasoned outdoorsmen, had set out before dawn, their bows in hand, tracking the elusive elk that roamed these remote stretches of Idaho wilderness. The signs were promising: fresh scat, disturbed soil, and the faint but unmistakable bugle of a distant bull echoed through the trees. With every careful step, their excitement grew. This was the kind of hunt they lived for, the thrill of the chase, the challenge of closing the distance undetected. The forest was alive with subtle movement. Squirrels chattered from the branches overhead, and a woodpecker drummed methodically against a rotting log. The hunters knew they had to stay focused. In these dense woods, every sound mattered, every rustling leaf could give away their position. Moving stealthily, they followed a narrow game trail, their senses heightened as they anticipated their next move. Then they found it, the perfect setup. A small clearing lay just ahead, bordered by thick brush and dotted with towering evergreens. The wind was in their favor, carrying their scent away from the direction of the elk. One of the men signaled to the other, gesturing toward a large pine tree that would provide ample cover. If they could get into position and wait, there was a good chance a bull would come within range. As they settled into their spots, they listened intently. The forest seemed to hold its breath. The distant bugling had stopped. The woods grew eerily silent, save for the occasional whisper of wind through the branches. Minutes passed, then an hour. The anticipation was almost tangible. Just as one of the hunters began to shift his weight, ready to reposition, a sudden, unmistakable sound sent a jolt of electricity through his body. A heavy, rhythmic crunch, footsteps, but not the delicate, cautious steps of an elk. No, these were different, deliberate, powerful, unyielding. Instinctively, both men froze. Their eyes darted toward the direction of the noise, scanning the thick brush. The silence that followed was deafening. Then another step, closer this time. The undergrowth trembled as something massive pushed through. A shadow moved between the trees, dark, heavy, low to the ground. Then came the deep guttural exhale, a sound that sent a chill racing down their spines. The realization hit them all at once. This wasn't an elk. This was something far more dangerous, a grizzly bear, and it was too close. Before they could react, before they could even think, the bear exploded from the brush. The attack had begun. The grizzly erupted from the brush in an instant, a blur of muscle, fur, and raw power. A primal force of nature, it charged with terrifying speed, closing the gap between itself and the hunters in mere seconds. There was no time to think, no time to raise a bow, no time to run. The massive bear, an adult male easily weighing over 600 pounds, was already upon them. Before either man could react, the grizzly slammed into the closest hunter, its sheer momentum sending him crashing backward onto the forest floor. The impact was like being hit by a freight train. Air was forced from his lungs as his bow was torn from his grip, skidding uselessly into the underbrush. He barely had time to register what had happened before an unbearable searing pain shot through his body. The bear's jaws clamped down on his arm, its powerful teeth puncturing through layers of flesh and muscle as if they were paper. A deep, guttural growl rumbled from the beast as it shook its massive head, ragdolling the hunter with devastating force. He screamed in agony, his vision flashing white with pain. His hunting partner, frozen for a split second by the sheer shock of what was happening, snapped into action. His heart pounded in his chest, adrenaline flooding his system as he fumbled for his sidearm, his fingers shaking as he yanked it from its holster. Gunshots shattered the air. The first shot rang out, a deafening crack in the silence of the forest. Then another. The bullets tore through the bear's thick fur, lodging into its dense muscle, but the beast barely flinched. It let out a thunderous roar, releasing its grip on the wounded hunter and whipping its head toward the second man. For a brief, gut-wrenching moment, their eyes locked. Then the grizzly charged again. The second hunter had only seconds to act. He steadied his hands and fired again. 1, 2, 3 more shots. The bear stumbled, faltered, but still kept coming. The injured hunter, still writhing on the ground, fought through the agony and reached for his own sidearm. He raised the gun, his fingers slick with blood, and squeezed the trigger. The final shot found its mark. The grizzly let out a final, ragged breath, its enormous body collapsing to the forest floor with a thunderous thud. The once majestic predator lay still, the echo of gunfire fading into the quiet hum of the wilderness. For a moment, neither hunter moved. The forest, moments ago filled with chaos and death, now stood eerily silent. Then the pain hit. The injured hunter clutched his arm, his breathing ragged as he fought to stay conscious. Blood seeped from deep puncture wounds, staining the forest floor beneath him. His partner rushed to his side, adrenaline still coursing through his veins as he assessed the damage. The wounds were bad, but not fatal. With shaking hands, he grabbed his radio and dialed for emergency assistance. "We need help! Grizzly attack! 1 down, serious injuries!" Within minutes, the sound of helicopter blades sliced through the stillness. Paramedics trained for wilderness rescues rappelled down, stabilizing the wounded hunter before lifting him into the chopper. As they rose into the sky, he glanced down one last time at the fallen bear, a sobering reminder of how close he had come to death. Back at Eastern Idaho Regional Medical Center, doctors treated the hunter's wounds, deep lacerations, muscle damage, and severe bruising, but miraculously, nothing life-threatening. Stitched up and shaken, he recounted the harrowing ordeal from his hospital bed, knowing how easily things could have ended differently. For the Idaho Department of Fish and Game, an investigation was swift. The facts were clear. This was a case of self-defense. The hunters had done what they had to do to survive. The attack served as yet another chilling reminder of the ever-present danger in grizzly country. The wilderness is unpredictable, untamed, and unforgiving. For those who step into the backcountry, preparedness isn't just an option, it's a necessity. And for these two hunters, this was a lesson learned the hard way. They had survived, but not everyone is so lucky. Wow. What an intense and harrowing encounter. This story is a chilling reminder that when you're in the wild, you are no longer at the top of the food chain. These two hunters were lucky to escape with their lives, but not everyone gets that second chance. Preparedness, awareness, and respect for wildlife are the keys to survival. But now, we want to hear from you. What would you have done in this situation? Do you think bear spray would have made a difference? Have you ever had a close call with a wild animal? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We read every single one. If you enjoyed this heart-pounding story and want more real-life encounters with nature's most dangerous creatures, then do us a favor and smash that like button. It helps this video reach more people who love thrilling wilderness survival stories. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, so you never miss another savage tale. We bring you the wildest, most jaw-dropping real-life encounters with nature's most fearsome predators. Ring that notification bell so you're the first to know when we drop our next wild survival story. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Share this video with your fellow hunters, hikers, and adventure seekers. This could be life-saving knowledge for anyone who spends time in bear country. And most importantly, thank you for watching and being part of our growing community of wilderness warriors. Until next time, stay sharp, stay safe, and remember, survive the wild, tell the tale.